Why can't I buy property in Canada is the question I get from a lot of my clients, especially those on work permits and study permits who have arrived in Canada, have this question about buying real estate. So did you know that from Jan 1st, 2023, the new rule is that foreign buyers are not permitted to buy any type of land in Canada or any type of real estate, be it residential, commercial or mixed use. And this is come into effect for the next 2 years. This means that even those on work permits and study permits would fall under the bracket of foreign buyers for this particular rule. So what does this mean? This means that those on work permits and study permits potentially cannot buy houses or commercial properties for the next 2 years. Having said that, there are some exceptions to this particular rule when it comes to foreign workers, those on work permits and those on study permits. So let's take a look at some of the exceptions for work permit holders. Some of the exceptions would be for those who are on work permit. Number one, if they hold a valid work permit and are authorized to work in Canada. Number two, if they have worked for 3 years at least at the minimum in Canada and also have filed returns for 3 or 4 taxation years preceding the year in which the purchase is intended to be made, and if they have not previously purchased a residential property in Canada prior to the new rule coming into effect. If they hit these criteria, then they could potentially look at purchasing property and real estate in Canada. What about study permit holders? What are the exceptions? And let's take a look at what criteria they need to hit if they were looking to buy property and could qualify. Number one, if they are enrolled in a program of authorized study at a DLI, that's a designated learning institution that is as defined by the IRCC in Canada. Number two, if they have filed IT, that is their income tax returns for each of the 5 taxation years preceding the year in which the purchase was made. Number three, if they have been physically present in Canada for a minimum of 244 days in each of the 5 calendar years preceding the year in which the purchase has been made. Number four, if they have not previously purchased any residential property in Canada prior to the rule coming into effect. And number five, if they purchase a property that is not exceeding 500,000, then this could be one of the criteria as well. Now, students may not qualify due to being outside of the country on their studies because of COVID. So you have to speak to an expert before actually taking a decision to go ahead and purchasing a property. Why do we have this new rule in place for the next 2 years? Basically, it's the demand and supply issue that we are facing in Canada, wherein the demand for homes is much more than the actual supply of homes in any category of property. So this rule has come into effect, and this is to benefit those who are on PR and those who are citizens of Canada, to basically enable them to be able to purchase homes, first-time home buyers who are PRs and Canadian citizens, and give them the advantage over anyone who is here on a temporary basis or anyone who is looking at buying property from outside of Canada with no Canadian status. So never mind that the actual percentage of foreign buyers is very minimal. This rule is more to kind of appease the PR and Canadian citizens here, to show them that the government is actually doing something to help with housing issues. So what are some of the solutions that temporary foreign workers in Canada could have that are looking to eventually get their PR but currently cannot buy property? Look at the rent-to-own program, because this could be highly beneficial. You get into a contract as a tenant buyer with the option to purchase when you do actually get your PR in hand. Now, why is this beneficial? Is because you are locking in the price at which you are purchasing the property 2 or 3 years out, and thereby benefiting from having that price locked in, because the market at that point could be at a stage where if you were to actually buy that home on the market, it would be a lot more that you would be paying for it. So this is definitely one of the better routes to be looking at if you are on work permit and want to be looking at purchasing property in the short term. If you have any questions about rent to own, reach out. I'll be doing a separate video on that. So do check out the video when it is up, and all the best to everyone who is here on work permits and study permits and looking to get their PR eventually. Take care. Stay safe, guys.